So moral imaginations is rigorous imagining, which means taking imagination seriously, actually going through a rigorous process of imagining together. So it's about collective imagination towards moral futures, which means actually using our imagination to chart a path to the kind of world we want to live in and the kind of people that we want to be in that world. So what I'm really excited about here in Watchet is that we've started working with a community of people who now see themselves and live and breathe imagination. So we think of them as community Imagineers. And so we've been working with this small group of people from Watchet for the last 3 to 4 months. We started off by hosting a 4-day imagination lab at the end of February, and from there things really picked up momentum. So we started hosting weekly sessions, and now the community is hosting imagination sessions for themselves each week. And what feels really exciting here is that in this community there's a incubating happening of a new economics. Jess from Onion Collective has written a paper and is launching this project around what she calls attachment economics. And she brought us moral imaginations in to work with those ideas that are in the attachment economics theory and bring them alive with imagination. What's really exciting is in attachment economics, Jess talks about reconnecting or reattaching to place, to people and to time. And in moral imaginations, we also work with connecting to place, people and time. We connect people to people, other people, both in this present moment in their community. We connect people to people who've not yet been born in future generations. And we connect people to people who were alive many, many thousands of years ago in their deep past, or we sometimes call these ancestors. We also work to connect people to the more than human world or nature. So attachment economics and moral imaginations come together to create this really exciting incubator here in Watchet of trying to develop the capacity in terms of imagination and the new systems and infrastructure of a new economics and new ways of coming together as a community. And we're really excited about what we might be able to build here over the next 5 to 10 years. So the reason we want to democratize imagination and make it available for everyone is because as kids, we used to spend our childhoods playing make-believe, creating roles, creating worlds that we would play in together. And as you grow up and become an adult, we get told to be more serious, to take things seriously. And this means that imagination becomes something that's reserved only for some of the people in society. People like designers, people, filmmakers in Hollywood, entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. And actually, imagination belongs to everyone. Imagination is a core human right and also a core human capacity, which is going to lead us into being able to think up new solutions to the kinds of problems that we face, but also be a tool for developing the kinds of people, developing ourselves as people, to be kinder, to be more empathetic, and to connect with the world in ways that we haven't been doing. Something that comes out of it is art, is creativity, and those are things that we value very deeply. But the actual moral imaginations practices are about building relationships and building empathy. So it's much more about building connection with other people. So people who go through our imagination labs say that when they come out of them, they've built this sense of community, but also loyalty to each other and a sense of commitment to actually working together and being and standing up for what's right together. It's sort of like a process that brings out the inner activist in people. And I think activists have got quite a bad name, obviously, because there's a whole spectrum of different kinds of activists. And what we want to do is support people to be moral imagining activists. So activists who are deeply connected to what's important to them and have come alive with imagination and creativity and take actions and decisions from that place. But at the core, the way that it's different is that, as I said, it's building connections with the more than human world, future generations and ancestors in the deep past. And so really it's about developing kinship and empathy and relationships with the world and with people that you might never meet and people and things that you can't see. I think what's really radical about what we're doing is that we're trying to build a new world. We need to build a new economy. We need to build a new education system. We need to build new democracies and new governance systems and governments. But we're trying to do that based on the same ways of seeing, thinking, feeling as we have in the last kind of centuries of time. And I think what we're trying to do with Moral Imaginations is to create spaces, create communities and share tools that allow people to actually shift the way they feel and see and relate to the world. Currently in our economy, the more than human world is not really represented. The future generations are not really represented, and our ancestors are not really represented. And so what we're trying to do is build the relationship between people and these stakeholders who are not currently represented in our systems. And to do that on the level of feeling is very, very difficult. And that's what we're trying to do at Moral Imaginations.